פה. היי, לארי. תתחדש על enjoy your beard. It's a new... You cut the cost even for the razors. Good. And Bruce is with us as well. So it's great to see you all. מה עם רינה?
So we're just checking where Rina is, and if not, we will start. We'll start. So, okay. Larry, if you can just check with Rina, and if not, we'll start in a minute. Yoffi. We're also, by the way, we're also recording this broadcast so that later on you can send the link or watch it and share it with other people. Okay.
אני מנסה לשלוח לרינה את ה...
I think maybe in that case, maybe I'll start, and when she comes on, we'll let her take over.
Sure.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to thank you all for being on this call and joining us for this first special webcast from the SAE together with the AFK in Israel. My name is Jessica Lawson-Stein. I am the Director of Resource Development at the SAE in Jerusalem, and working closely together with the American Friends of Kidum as well. It's great to see so many people speaking from so many different places, from New York, from New Jersey, from California, from Israel. We know we're having people come on from the United Kingdom as well, so welcome to you all. Our expert speakers are all going to be in Israel to provide an overview of the SAE's response to the closing of schools in Israel to mitigate the effects of Corona-19. We'll hear from the Executive Director of the SAE, Mr. Eitan Moran, and to gain an understanding of the challenges of switching from traditional classrooms to long-distance learning virtually overnight, we'll hear from Daphna Menashe Baruch, the principal of the Maid Boyle High School. We'll take a look as well at the psychological impact of COVID-19 and the school closings on students and staff, as we hear from the senior clinical psychologist, Dr. Bruce Oppenheimer, from the Tzofnat Institute for Organizational Consulting Development and Research. And then, to get to some perspective from our students, some of our students, or all our students that will be with us today, are already online. We'll meet the students from three SAE programs: the Embal Leadership School for Girls, Sindiana, the Arab Youth Village for Leadership, and from the Steinberg Residential Campus in Kfar Saba. If you have any questions during the time of the webcast, then please click on the chat in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, or down below, depending on where it is. Click on Send to All and type in your questions, and then at the end we'll have a Q&A, and we'll get through as many questions as time permits. So for now, let's get started.
Wait, I see Rina. Rina's here.
Oh.
Hi, Rina.
Oh.
היא במיוט, תשחררי אותה.
אני רואה.
Sorry.
Hi, Rina.
Okay, we can start. A little late, like 8 minutes late. I apologize. Okay, we'll start.
Rina, just to let you know, Rina, this is Jessie. I sort of started going over the main things. We'll go back to you now to introduce Eitan Moran. I gave them sort of an overview of the speakers that are going to be.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Just
so
introduce. Absolutely. Introduce yourself so people know who you are, and then you can start by introducing Eitan as well.
Okay, so I'm Rina Shkolnik. I'm the vice chair of American Friends of Kidum, the U.S. 501c3 nonprofit that supports the work of the Society for Advancement of Education, the SAE, in United States. So I'm talking to you from Florida, originally from New York, well, originally from Israel, but from New York. We are stuck in Florida for the last, I would say, 6 months, since November, because of the corona. And that's it. And I will introduce Eitan. We'll go forward. So, and just before, if you have any questions, I don't know if Jessica told you, if there are any questions, you're welcome to write them. And now let's start. So it's my pleasure to introduce the Executive Director of the SAE for the past 12 years, a period of tremendous growth and expansion of the organization, Eitan Moran. Eitan, please.
Thank you, Rina. It's a pleasure to see all of you. It's like unbelievable creation, such a net of good friends, investor involvement, founders. And I think, Yefet, we couldn't believe at that coffee on our first meeting that we will be in such a circumstances, but with so many friends. So thank you all for coming on board and being with us. It's really exciting, actually, to see this difficult time that our main resource is our connectedness to our core family, to our friends, to the organization, with the threats that was developed with the coronavirus. I will make it briefly because there are a lot to reach program afterwards. So I think I will never forget. Well, as you can see, this is only some of all the instruction that I got in the last 6 weeks, but I will never forget, especially Saturday night, we got an instruction from the Ministry of Education that we have to shut down the entire SAE, to shut the doors of the boarding schools, Boyer, Amalia, Chachmei Lev, Indiana, immediately, like they were intoxic or something. And it was also been back up as a law, meaning you can't violate it. It's not just another instruction. Now it's an emergency law. You must obey. But nobody speak how the government will compensate us at the time that all the teachers, hundreds of teachers, counselors, psychologists, social workers are going to sit at their home. I call our lawyers, legal advisor, and she told me, Eitan, the entire institution, we represent several of them, decided to send all of their workers to vacation without payment. And you have to do it with all the 800 workers of the SAE. I thought that this is, many years ago, there was a Shabbat HaShchora, the Black Saturday, but this is another Black Saturday, because as far as I know about organization, you can't just freeze them for 2 months and then defreeze them. It doesn't work like that. So I called the chairman and said, Yossi, I'm asking for a delay for at least 14 days that we won't send. We will take on our shoulders whatever might come. And people who knows Yossi, it goes without question that he support this attitude that we won't send. It's almost resignation, but we won't send those letters to our workers. I'm happy to say that 95% of our workforce was with us. We paid them salary. We made an unbelievable transition, and Daphne will speak about it, that within 24 hours, the entire SAE moved to work virtually, including the finance, including the HR, including the resource development, but especially and mainly the schools that created an unbelievable program to create a a field of interest to the student who are sitting at their home with unbelievable anxiety. Some of them, the parents are in an anxiety. And as I'm sure you all know that a large part of our students is coming from broken houses and disadvantaged background, which reflect in this period with another pressure. So I can take an oath that you all can be proud of the team, of the principals of the high school and the boarding school. They all go to this task with unbelievable enthusiasm and commitment. Open the boarding school to every child that needed. We sent vouchers to family we thought won't have enough resources to create Pesach, to celebrate Pesach, so we send them to their cell phone, vouchers that they can purchase food and basic needs. But mainly, I think the principal within the vacation create unbelievable rich program. And Bruce, Dr. Bruce Oppenheimer, which is a clinical psychologist, with the team of Tzafnat, created a support net for all the students and the social worker that dealing with children with pressures, anxiety, vulnerability, and etc. So that's what we did. I think since Sunday, slowly, the educational system in Israel is starting to defreeze. And I think that this is one of the unclean part, I would say. It's like the snow in Jerusalem when suddenly is coming. The worst part is the defreezing because it's all like a mess. So there is a unbelievable instruction. Some of the grades can come to school, some are not. Some of the students can apply, some are not. But I'm sure we will go over this stage through coming back to routine. And there is matriculation exam within, I think, 6 weeks. So there is a huge gaps to close, and I'm sure that the team that functions so well with such resourcefulness will deal with this mission in excellent results. So I think that my compass was rooted in the founder's legacy, that we will stick to the children, we will seek for the best and with fairness to our work force, our teacher, our counselors. Each one of them got his salary on time. It was an unbelievable operation to remove all the finance, computers, and printers, and all of the system to the houses of our staff. Start from Modi'in, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, all over, almost all over the country. Do I have another? I'm on time, Jessica. Oh, 1 minute. So the challenge for tomorrow, let's say for the next year, we will continue with our initiatives. We don't want to look just beyond, we want to look forward. We have some initiative, as most of you know, to develop international Jewish school and to develop another ultra-Orthodox institution. So we are working on it. We start slowly to come into business in the sense of developing. We are strongly in the maintaining, but in the last week, we are coming back to developing. I will end my words. Can you show them the poem, Shoshana? Yeah, so I will read only the first and the last line. It's a fear from Khalil Gibran, and it said, "It is said that before entering the sea, a river trembles with fear." I'm jumping to the last paragraph. The river needs to take the risk of entering the ocean. because only then will fear disappear, because that's where the river will know it's not about disappearing into the ocean, but of becoming the ocean. So thank you for being with us. And I believe that now it's Daphna.
Yeah, I will introduce her.
Okay, so thank you for your listening. And just to welcoming Michael Wieger, which used to be the head of the entire Britain Federation, and is with us. He was before with us supporting our activity, and now he's part of our team. So welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Eitan. And now I'm pleased to introduce the principal of the Boyer High School, who has been introducing new learning systems for the past few years. Daphna Menashe Baruch, please.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. I was asked to talk about the May Boyer High School and how we have been coping during Corona lockdown. First, some important background on Boyer. The Boyer High School was created through the vision of Mr. Louis Boyer as a memorial to his wife, May, and daughter, Karen Kennedy, who is on the AFK board. Hi, Karen. Boyer is a big campus with more than 1,000 students. About a third live in residence in Pimia. We have 29 classes and more than 100 teachers. And in the past few years, Boyer has become a computerized school. Boyer educational concept is from excellence to leadership. Two main things are important to us, both academic excellence and instilling social values. On March 10, because of the coronavirus, the government of Israel decided to close all schools, and we had to move to online teaching, distance learning. At the beginning, our immediate challenges were how to create certainty in a world of uncertainty, and how to create security in a world with many fears. Here, Shoshana, yeah. Here you can see an example of a lesson on Zoom. You can see the students and the teachers. I want to divide the Corona period to two stages. One stage, the first step, and big change to distance learning. Our immediate goals were communication, creating a system of ongoing and direct communication with teachers, with students, with parents, providing a framework for students, emotional response to anxieties, mediating reality for the students, progressing with the study materials, and preparation for Bagrut exams. We found different challenges for students, for teachers, and for the organizations. To the teachers, not everybody is comfortable or can teach through computer. For example, sports, arts, etc. Also, they don't know how to use Zoom. They never used it before. And they're at home with their little kids. It is distracting. For students, the virus situation is very stressful and new. There is a lack of learning condition at home, hard to learn from home. And because of that, there is a lack of motivation for learning. It's very clear why. Now for Boyer, for the schools, creating a Boyer distance learning framework. We had to prioritize teaching subjects. You cannot teach everything. Managing a large distance learning system, managing the system so everything goes smoothly. So, how did we address the challenges I just mentioned? First of all, meetings of the management's forum to think together how to deal with this new reality. What is important in distance learning? Setting a schedule and more. The teachers learn how to use Zoom from each other and from videos. And believe me, it was a big mess at the beginning. The homeroom teachers, המחנכים, did intensive work and had to be creative. Personal contact with the students, opening and closing session every day, a lot of creativity and fun. Student anxiety, counselors and educators were with individual students, staff meetings of all smaller teacher groups. And I was able to visit the lessons online. It was nice to see more than I usually have time for. Now we are going into stage 2. When we realize this is going to be a long-term thing and that we will not be going back to the school building so quickly, we worked very hard to improve the teaching methods of distance learning. We understood that the learning routine can be boring for the students. So we included new methods to keep them motivated and interested. We also understood that boundaries become blurred, unclear between home, work, working hours. It is very tiring for teachers. Now I will explain what we did. We improved the teaching methods. We had staff meetings by subject. We introduced new tools, online surveys for feedback from kids and from teachers. Keeping the students motivated and interested, we included social value studies, meet interesting people, teachers prepare quizzes, more projects-based learning. About the unclear boundaries, we set regular work hours. We also create a corona policy together with the students, teachers, and parents. One important issue was the camera. We found that it is difficult for students to show themselves on camera. Some have body image issues and some also, lay in bed during the lessons. So we created a policy and it was much easier afterward. We also had parents-teachers meeting to create a sense of partnership. Boyer is known for its social activism and has many traditions. It was important to us to keep the traditions, and so we moved them online. You can see, just a minute, I highlight it, yeah, Shoshana, yes. You can see here a list of them. I will only mention the 2 ceremonies which are usually packed with many participants, Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaShoah, which were recorded before, and so everybody felt like they were together, even though everybody was at home. And another social volunteers program was children who used to visit the elderly in their homes and now are keeping in touch with them by phone every week. And I met this group and they share me many nice adventures and feeling, and it's really one of the special program that I'm proud of it. One of the unique aspects about Boyer, it is the Pnimiya residence. Students from all over Israel are able to come and learn in one of the country's best schools and live in the residence. This year, we have almost 300 students living there. But during Corona, as Etan told us, they were all sent home. The staff kept in touch every day through online activities. There was a group of students who have no other option, no family support system, who came back and lived in the residence with the staff. For kids who had crisis, the staff continued the care. For example, one girl lost her father, and another boy's house burned down, and the staff helped collect things for the family. We also had parent-staff meetings, and we continue in interviewing new kids for next year through Zoom meetings. And now, to conclude, during this crazy time, we learned a lot of things. First, we improved our ability to integrate computer-aided teaching. The boundaries of time have changed. There is more accessibility to teachers and shorter response time. There is a change of the classic concept of classroom, time, teacher. You know, maybe after Corona, we can create a school which will be combined classroom and distance learning. And basically, we made lemonade out of the lemons that Corona gave us. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Daphna. Thank you so much. If anyone has questions for Daphna or Eitan, please feel free to click on the chat button, click all and type your question. We have heard a lot about education initiatives and academic programs. All this change places stress, extra stress on students and teachers. To talk about these aspects of the current situation is clinical psychologist, Dr. Bruce Oppenheimer. Please, Dr. Bruce.
I want to explain why I think it is a privilege to be a psychologist and an organizational consultant to the Aguda L'Kidum HaChinuch. And I want to, in that way, try and show the work that's being done by the Aguda on the psychological side. The first principle that characterizes this organization is that it is a learning organization. It is continually developing, learning, processing what has happened, thinking out new ways of approaching, not getting stuck in paradigms that have been useful in the past. And I've seen this so much in the few weeks of in the few months really of the Corona crisis, where learning is happening in motion all the time. As a psychologist and organizational consultant, to be part of a process where there is a space for learning, where you can think about things, where you aren't rushing to action all the time, is indeed a privilege. The second thing that makes working so important and so significant is that relations, human relations, are at the forefront of what is happening in this organization. I'll give you an example. I have been working this year with the principals, both the principals of the high school and the principals of the boarding schools. And we have been meeting once a month. But once the corona crisis stepped in, we increased these meetings to weekly meetings, fortnightly meetings now, and Eitan has been present at all these meetings, which allows us to contain what is happening among the leadership, the cadre of leadership of the organization. They in turn are working intensively with their madrichim and with their counselors and with their social workers and with their teachers. So there's a pyramid of support and a container for the many anxieties that are arising. Now, I don't have to tell people that this is a terribly difficult time and that we are dealing with very, very extreme reactions. I can say that even Zoom is a problematic medium. Some people are very comfortable with Zoom and some people are very uncomfortable with Zoom. Some feel exposed, some feel protected. In some ways, we're dealing with absence and presence at the very same time. But what Daphne said really, I think, helps to realize that they are working on the Zoom teaching, on the Zoom support, both on a psychological level and on an academic level, as an ongoing project. I think we are witnessing a cyber educational experiment. I don't think that teaching, I don't think that psychology is going to be the same afterwards. The Aguda L'Kidum HaChinuch, the Society for the Advancement of Education, is a type of microcosm of what is happening in society generally. I go back to what I said at the beginning. It's a privilege to work with an organization that puts relationships between people so high, and between an organization that takes learning and learning in action, learning in motion as an extreme value. Thank you.
Sorry, Rena, start again.
Yes.
You were muted.
I'm sorry, what?
You were muted, so go ahead.
No, it's okay. Eyal is here? Okay, so Eyal is the one.
Me?
I introduced him. Hi, Eyal.
We didn't hear you. Rena, start again. Introduce him again because nobody heard you.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's time to hear from our students. And our first one is Eyal Agam, a 12th grader at Steinberg Residential Campus in Kfar Saba. Eyal, please.
Hey, I'm Eyal. I'm 17 years old. I'm from Steinberg resident. It's my 5th year in Steinberg. It's a difficult time because of the coronavirus. We're not used to online classes, and it's tough because there's reasons that we left to boarding school, to the residents. And one of them for me was it's difficult for me to learn at home. And when they shut down the residents, that's one of the problems I had to deal with. But I didn't deal with it by myself. I had the Steinberg staff helping me. They were with me every single step of the way. They called me every day to see how I am, to see if I need any help, if I have troubles at school. They informed my parents to see if I'm learning. Even though you're not in the same place that you used to be, it's a second home for me, Steinberg. It's a place that 5 years I've been. And now that it's out of nowhere, we had to stop going there, and they sent us back home. It's kind of difficult because you're used to a daily routine, and then it's gone. But they tried their hardest to make it seem as the daily routine will still be there. We had our evening activities still through the Zoom, and they helped us out in whatever we needed, and that helped a lot.
Thank you, Eyal. Thank you so much. And now let's hear from Laura Macalda, I believe that's the right name, a 10th grader from Sindia Arab Youth Village for leadership in Givat Haviva. Laura, please.
Hi, I'm Laura Macaldi. I'm a sophomore in Sindiana Youth Village, and I would like to share with you my experience during quarantine. So at the beginning, I was really scared from the COVID-19, and my biggest fear was that one of my loved ones will get infected. But on the other hand, I finally got some free time. And so the past period of time has been challenging for all of us in all ways. And despite the difficulties and the confusion, I think my school handled the situation pretty well. It supported its students and the parents. So online learning was generally successful. There were some technical issues, but my teachers did everything to make the learning experience useful and successful. And for that, I thank them so much. So in addition of that, my school took care of the social and personal side of the students. For example, we celebrated Muslim holidays together, such as Ramadan. We did social activities together, and we collected the foundations for families in need. So if you want to ask me about my personal experience, I will tell you that I have learned to appreciate all the little things that we have always been taking for granted. And now I have the answer for the question that we all have been asking. When will technology replace the human? And the answer for that is never, because I can't even imagine not seeing my teachers smile in the morning or my friends hug. Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Laura. And the third student we will meet, 7th grader from the Inbar Leadership School of Girls. I'm sorry, I don't have her name. So please introduce yourself.
Okay, so it's me. My name is Amit. I live in Aveilan and learn in Inbar School in Jerusalem. I chose to learn at Inbar because I looked for something that will challenge me. When I arrived to the school and met the teachers and the girls, I felt like this is the place where I can be the best. I felt like my opinion is important and I can make changes. The distance learning in Inbar is special because we have the regular classes and we still have the learning routine, and the girls stay active once a day for 15 minutes. One girl ran a activity to the class. It might be a game or a sport activity or a creating activity. We have the regular sport lessons with Rotem, the sport teacher, twice a week. And in addition, each day, 3 girls share with the class the training they did. Every morning, we have 15 minutes of movement. We got also Lauf project. We were divided into groups by the topic we chose, which is connected to fashion. The topic that my group chose is body image in the social media. After we chose the topic, and we had to research about girls at our age in the social media. And according to the research, to find a solution for breaking the beauty ideal in the social media. And we have also our YouTube channel. The channel is activated by 3 girls who take videos of important events, so that people who want to get the impression of what happens in Inbar beside the ordinary lessons. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amit. Really, thank you. And many thanks to all the students for sharing their experience with us today. We still have some time for some questions. So I am sure that Shoshana Becker will be able to read the questions and to ask, the speakers and thank them and ask for response. Shoshana?
First of all, this is Jessie. I just want to say that Andira and Ali from Sindiana wanted to be on the call as well, but at the moment because it's Ramadan, they're also dealing with the breaking of the fast. So I can see that we have a question from Yedida, who has a question for Daphna. And her question is, are you using the professional learning communities framework to help teachers in their practice?
Yes, thank you. Yes, our teacher belong to many different professional learning communities, which cities which they are dealing with the other colleagues. We also have a professional in my staff, Amy Katz. She is with us. Maybe she can answer it.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Daphna's pedagogical advisor. Pleased to meet you all. I'm originally from England, which is why I have my accent. Yes, there are many different professional learning communities, as you all can imagine. There are general ones, and there are also specific fields of subjects communities. So there was a constant flow of social learning. We were actually even slightly drowned by all the learning. At some point, we had to even stop it and say, okay, we're going to have to focus now on to stop learning and start making things more stable. So definitely, there was a lot of learning. Yeah.
Thank you, Amy. And there is a question for Daphna and Eitan, but since Daphna just answered, maybe we'll take this one to Eitan. Will graduating students be able to do all matriculation exams despite the situation?
I can't. I'm not sure that anyone know the right answer, but I think the last policy of the Ministry of Education is to reduce the matriculation exam for five main professionals. But Daphna, she is the expert. I think they postponed the date of the matriculation exam, so all of them will have. Some of them, I think, will be happy to have only 5, but that's will be the minimum. I'm sure that they can add whatever they want to, but all schools are now preparing for 5 main professionals. Daphna, would you like to add something?
Yeah. Well, this is I think the best in the Corona situation. The government gave us a lot of autonomy to choose what we want to do, except exams of English, I think mathematics and Hebrew language. Every subject become our, we had to decide which is exam outside and which subjects is inside. I mean, we are giving the mark at the end. And so we decided, I will say it, we decide together which is better for students to exam outside and which is inside the school. Yeah. I hope I gave the answer.
Thank you, Daphna. There was a question that someone who couldn't come on that earlier asked me, and I'm actually going to ask, I think, Bruce, if he believes that there might be any long-term consequences in education of this whole period of COVID-19.
I think that there's a revolution going on. You know, e-learning and distance learning has been around for a long time, but I think it's been given an enormous boost. I think there's going to be a revolution, and I think education and schooling will change. It'll be fascinating to see how it happens. That's my prediction. It will be very hard to go back.
Thank you very much. I can see Alan Divac has asked, I'm curious about the experience of the Haredi students at Chachmei Lev during the crisis, especially in regards to access to technology and the experience of Poles who have been, the experience of, I can't read that word properly, who had been at the boarding.
Of the students who were at the boarding school.
Okay.
Pupils.
Thank you. Eitan, if you can sort of give an overview of what it was like for Chachmei Lev students.
Well, it was unbelievable to see. I think the most, I don't know if it's old-fashioned, but stepping behind or stepping forward, because, you know, it's mainly about the written books. This is our main legacy, is the written books, Talmud, and etc. But Yoni developed his own leadership in this crisis. He moved the entire team to distance learning. Of course, there was a lot of issues. Some of the students didn't have Wi-Fi in their home because it's forbidden. Some of the staff persons didn't have. They do teach in school, but they don't have Wi-Fi in their home. So we sent people from the SAE to create a Wi-Fi technology in their home. Thanks to the founder's family, Karen, some of the students who didn't have the resources to have a mobile computer, laptops, we purchased for them the laptops, so in order they can be online, they can be and to learn with their friends. You know, as you probably know, I have a religious background. So one day I found myself calling Yoni and say, why won't you open the day by praying via Zoom? And I think it was astounded. He was not prepared for that, but they did it. They started to pray via Zoom. I think one of the rabbi make it give a stamp of kosher tefillah. So it was unbelievable. There was a problem with the boarding school because the instruction was tremendous. There was a problem with the yeshiva because there were several neighborhoods which were quarantined hermetically. So Beit Vagan, where the SAE is locating, was closed by the police. In fact, for 2 weeks, I was the only worker in the building. So it was quite an experience to be lonely without all the staff members. And in a regular day, I think there is between 60 to 80 people in the building. But we did it. So,
Eitan, can I tell a story about Chachmei Lev? A quick one. I know that in the residence, something I heard that they did just before Corona, the counselor, the madrich in the residence, he only had time for one, and then they were closed down and sent home for Corona. On Thursday night, he started something that he wanted to go on every week of, I don't know if you all know, but on Thursday nights, usually Haredi neighborhoods, people walk around and they go out just to have chulent and sing, and just, it's like a happy event. So the madrich, the counselor, organized that. The first night they were all together, they sang songs, they brought ferns and everything, and it was lovely. And then a few weeks later, when everybody kind of figured out what they're doing, something he did a couple weeks ago was he did the same thing but online with songs and fun and whatever, and it was whoever wanted from Chachmei Lev can get online, can join. So they had about 25 kids online. And he ordered Shulant in each of their cities to arrive at their homes so that they can all eat it together at the same time. So I feel like it was a very exciting little cute story. There are many other similar stories in all of the other schools and residences. So yeah, Jess, back to you.
Thank you. I think the last question, so we won't run out of time, is someone asked me for the students, from their perspective, if they can answer what they like the most and what they like and what they've liked the least about this whole COVID-19 era. So, Eyal, do you want to start and say sort of what was the best and worst moment, so to say, as you see it?
Worst moments for me were the online classes. It was kind of difficult. It's not face-to-face with the teacher, so I had to overcome that problem. And the part that I liked was that we all kept in touch from the residents. We all kept in touch, we helped each other out, we talked. That was a good feeling.
Great, thanks Eyal. Lara, the same question to you. What was sort of, good moment and a bad moment in this last period of time?
Okay, so I agree with Eyal. I found it very difficult for me to study the material that the school gave us without seeing the teacher face to face. But I really enjoyed that I can study from whenever I want and where I want. I can just lay in my bed and open the computer and study from there. That was fun.
Thank you, Lara.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Jessica, can I say something?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the corona makes us more creativity, the teachers, and I think the students become more independent. And this is great. This is great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point. Amit, what is your good and bad moment during Corona days?
Okay, so I think that the thing that I like the most is that I don't need to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. The worst thing that I think that everybody here feels is that I can't see my friends face to face, and maybe I see them in the Zoom, but it's not the same at all.
Thank you very much. I think at this point we're gonna have to stop. I'm gonna let Rena close up for us, and thank you, Rena, for emceeing this Zoom webcast. Rena, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you all for being with us. It was very informative. Special thanks to Shoshana and Jessica Lawson-Stein, our terrific development team in Jerusalem, for organizing this special event, and to all our speakers, Eitan, Daphna, Bruce, Eyal, Lara, and Amit, for taking the time to be with us today. Again, it was very informative. For me, it was very important to hear. I visited Steinberg. I never visited others, and definitely my plans are to visit and to see firsthand. We look forward to seeing you all at our other Webcast and in the future. And I just want to wish you all stay healthy and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
תודה רבה, רינה. תודה, קרן, על הסיוע. Thank you, Karen, for your support. Ruth Waldman, thank you. It was lovely to meet you in LA. And you can see we continue our legacy. And in fact, with us is Adas Rice that established the all-girls school for leadership. We are looking forward to host you, which will be possible in Israel. So thank you all. I pray for your... Sure, Yedida.
Yeah, I just want to say to Eyal that the connection that you form, and I guess for all the other students in the different residencies, 40 years later, I graduated also from Steinberg, and 40 years later, I'm still in touch with so many people. Even though I'm here in California and, some in London, some in Canada, and most of them are in Israel, but we're still keep in touch. So it's a wonderful experience.
It's amazing.
Friends for life. Thank you all. I pray for your healthy and happiness. Hope to see you all soon. David, it was lovely to see you. Stay healthy and strong. Good evening to you all. Toda rabba. להתראות.
Good evening. Bye, Litro.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
To deal with what's going on in our country, what's going on in our world. So I'm getting a lot of comments here. Yes, I do understand the survival rate.